What's up, Star Wars fans? Today I want to talk about The Bad Batch Season 2 and exactly what Cody's role could be in this second season. Now, for those who don't know, Commander Cody was revealed to be part of The Bad Batch Season 2 in the trailer that was aired exclusively at Star Wars Celebration. And unless I've completely missed something, Cody is not part of the trailer that was published on the Star Wars YouTube channel. And what's most interesting is he actually has some dialogue with Crosshair, stating very clearly that he's uncertain that the Empire is doing any good in the galaxy. So that all said, I asked you, the community, what you thought Cody's role would be in The Bad Batch Season 2, and as always, you came up with some fantastic ideas. So let's get right into it here with Ith613's comment. Antagonist at first, but he's conflicted like Hauser. Ultimately, he sacrifices his life to let Rex live to fight another day. And hey, I'm totally down with Cody being redeemed. Perhaps he's able to overcome his inhibitor chip, or it's just worn out or broken. And of course, it would be a huge disappointment if we didn't see Commander Cody and Captain Rex one more time together. And if they do come together, it would be spectacular if one of them sacrifices their life for the other. And unfortunately, we all know that that would have to be Commander Cody. So thanks for that comment. Let's get back to the community tab for another comment. This one comes from Shiny Starmy Studios. They state, I think he might be the one that pushes Crosshair to abandon the Empire. The final straw for Cross is when he eventually discovered that Rampart lied to him about removing his inhibitor chip, although he does not return to the batch and instead strikes out on his own. And I gotta say, I'm loving this speculation. I really like the idea that Commander Cody could be the one to push Crosshair out of the Empire, and I just really like the idea of Crosshair setting out on his own in the galaxy, perhaps becoming a bounty hunter of renown, and just not actually fully redeeming himself. I think it's something that a lot of fans wouldn't see coming, and I like it. So thanks for that comment, but moving on to another comment here, we got Gary DeMann, and he states on the community tab, I hope Commander Cody isn't redeemed. Too many redemption arcs in Star Wars, but I want him to be less ruthless than Crosshair as a semi-villain. And yeah, the interesting thing here, Gary, is we have no idea how much Commander Cody we're going to see, really. We may just get to see him for an episode or two, and there's a good chance, of course, in Season 2 that we don't get Cody's story wrapped up, and maybe we get to see more of him in Season 3. But that said, let's move on to some more speculation from JetBlast190. He states on the community tab, I think Cody will start out as an antagonist because his inhibitor chip is still active, but at some point, either due to contact with Rex or the Batch, or perhaps his own recognition, he'll have the chip removed and become an ally to the Batch. He then would be in a position to persuade Crosshair to end his allegiance with the Empire. So again, more speculation that Cody is going to be the one to help Crosshair move on from the Empire, whether that's joining the Bad Batch in the Clone Rebellion, or perhaps becoming a bounty hunter like I mentioned earlier. So thanks for your speculation, JetBlast190. Let's move on now to the Medieval Man 9. He states on the community tab, I think he's going to be neither an antagonist nor an ally, at least not at first. I think he's just going to be a very scared man who's trying to get away from the Empire just so he can survive, and he's going to run from everybody as he tries to figure out what is going on. For some reason though, he and Crosshair end up having to work together. Crosshair probably was sent to bring him in, and circumstances forces them to cooperate in order to survive. And in the end, Crosshair lets him go. Good soldiers follow orders, sure, but good soldiers also stay loyal to their brothers when their brothers prove themselves. Reluctantly, he sends Cody to look for the Bad Batch, who will put him in contact with Rex. And as always, that is some solid speculation there, Medieval Man 9. I really like this idea that Crosshair might actually become this inside man helping clones remove themselves from the Empire. You know, absolutely still being an antagonist to the Bad Batch because he's not willing to let go of them not coming back for him. But as you say in your speculation, he stays loyal to his brothers and helps those who want to get out. And at the same time helps out the Empire, and at the same time does what the Empire requests of him. so that he can continue to help out his brothers. I mean, for me, that would make for a very interesting redemption for Crosshair, and personally, I think it's another cool alternative to Crosshair just quitting the Empire and joining the Bad Batch once again. I also really enjoy the speculation that he's just going to be running away, he's going to be scared, and he's going to be trying to figure this all out. And until Cody feels like he has a strong grasp on what is actually happening in the galaxy, what the Empire is really doing and what it stands for, then and only then is he going to join up with somebody like Captain Rex. But that said, thanks for that speculation. We also have another interesting comment on the community tab from Unholy Invoker. He states, he will seem as an antagonist, but will allow the Bad Batch to escape the Imperials, or at least allow them to complete their mission objective with less hindrance. And yeah, Unholy Invoker, I really like this speculation. I like the idea that Cody could be somebody on the inside, similar to what I said about Crosshair earlier. What if Cody does realize what's happening while he's still in the Empire, and maybe he makes contact with Rex, and as he's deciding what action to take, he actually decides to be the inside man for Rex. Commander Cody stays in the Empire and helps his brothers get out, or even coordinates with Rex some sort of sabotage, maybe even an assassination attempt on the Emperor himself. I don't think that's something that we'd see necessarily in Season 2, but it is something that we could eventually build towards. And it certainly would be an interesting way to use this character, besides just having him be yet another clone defecting from the Empire and joining Rex. So thanks for that speculation. Let's move on back to the community tab where we got Arav GP. He states, I think that he will be a conflicted character and will bridge the line between villain and hero. And yeah, Arav, that could also be very interesting. Perhaps at some point he's willing to carry out the orders of the Empire, and then at other points he's willing to help out our heroes, or maybe even sabotage a mission that the Empire's on, which he doesn't believe in. But thanks for that comment. Let's move on to another one from Seabass. They stayed on the community tab. I want him to stay with the Empire. Not everyone has to join the good guys. And yeah, Seabass, this is definitely something that could happen. I mean, in the trailer, it did seem like he was questioning what the Empire was up to, but that could be a total red herring, and he could become very loyal to the Empire, especially if they try and strengthen his inhibitor chip in some way, like we saw in Season 1 with Crosshair. But that said, we got one more comment coming from Kelly Wimmer. She states on the community tab, he might have an epiphany when Clone Force 99 tries to rescue Howitzer and his men. However, I think he's too loyal to the Empire and will betray them. A fight will ensue where Crosshair eliminates Cody to help his brothers escape and then go on to run himself. And more great speculation here. I just love the idea that some of you have come up with that Commander Cody is going to be the one that is a catalyst for Crosshair leaving the Empire. And Kelly, I also really like the idea that the Bad Batch are going to be saving Howitzer. He was definitely one of my favorite clones in Season 1 of the Bad Batch. But hey, Star Wars fans, that's all the time I got for speculation today. Thank you to everyone who left a comment on the community tab. And hey, if you like this video, then check out my other videos on the Bad Batch Season 2. I'll have them linked here on the end screen. As always, I'm Mike, and remember, the Force will be with you always.